Call of the Night is an awesome new anime about a vampire named Nazuna who roams the streets at night searching for someone to suck. She finds a high school student named Yamori-kun and bites his neck and basically starts chugging. But to Nazuna's surprise, she very much enjoys the flavor of Yamori-kun's blood, probably because her previous victims were Magic Johnson, Eazy-E, and Freddie Mercury. Anyway, Yamori-kun doesn't mind letting Nazuna guzzle his neck juice like a smoothie as long as she agrees to turn him into a vampire. However, you can't become a vampire unless you fall in love with one first. The problem is, Yamori-kun's a kid and Nazuna's basically a boomer. We don't know her exact age, but I guarantee she's too old to download a PDF and she probably still uses Internet Explorer. Luckily for Nazuna, this video is sponsored by Opera GX. Opera GX is more than just a web browser, it's a weeb browser. I've been using this Get More Wallpapers feature to install whichever waifu wallpapers I want. There's even Wallpapers too. Opera GX allows you to adjust video frames to watch live streams, videos, and anime while you're gaming or studying, or if you're just chilling with your waifu Saul Goodman. No need to pay for some shitty music service either, because Opera's amazing music player is built right into the sidebar, which also has Twitter, Discord, and whatever else you use. There's even a free built-in VPN. Opera GX will save you money, free up network space, and allow you to control your CPU and RAM usage. After the next update, I wouldn't be surprised if Opera GX does my laundry and cleans my room as well. It's perfect for weebs, gamers, otaku, and even boomers probably. Download Opera GX right now for free with my link in this video's description. Thank you again to Opera GX for sponsoring this video. Call of the Night is an interesting anime that uniquely alternates between a slice of life and a mystery drama. There's even a few shonen chapters. It pretty much evolves into whatever genre the author is feeling at the moment. However, the most prevalent genre is romance, and that's why Call of the Night gets a lot of criticism regarding the problematic ages of Nazuna and Yamori-kun. As we know, Yamori-kun is 14, while Nazuna is roughly triple his age. She's old enough to be Yamori-kun's mother, and she will technically become his mother if she ever finally turns him into a vampire, but the point is, the romance between them is kind of weird if you think too much about it. In real life, this situation would rightfully cause an outrage. However, Nazuna isn't real, and even if she was real, she still wouldn't be real because vampires aren't real. But even though fiction can affect reality, the fictional ages of these fictional characters don't even make any sense. Normally, I laugh at people who say age is just a number, but it seriously feels like the author just randomly picked a number between 1 and 100 when he was choosing Nazuna's age. If Nazuna didn't outright tell us how old she was, I probably would have assumed she was younger than Yamori-kun because she's infinitely less mature than he is, and she even looks younger than him. In fact, she barely resembles a human at all. I mean, why are they shaped like that? Yamori-kun's age makes even less sense than Nazuna's though, unless it's normal for 14-year-olds to have the wisdom and maturity of an elder sage. Yamori's also drawn by an adult, voiced by an adult, written by an adult, and at no point does Call of the Night attempt to sexualize him whatsoever. Yet, according to most of the reviews on this anime's Mal page, everyone who watches Call of the Night deserves to be sentenced
25 years in federal prison!
So while the main characters' ages feel kind of random and out of place, everything else in this anime is absolutely amazing. The writing is clever, the music is fire, and the visuals are completely stunning. If this is what Japan actually looks like, I think I'm gonna move there immediately, in about 7 years from now when Japan finally reopens to foreigners. Roughly 99% of Call of the Night is pure liquefied greatness, yet a lot of us care way too much about the remaining 1% that's a little bit questionable. The fact that Nazuna herself doesn't even care to know her exact age probably implies that the audience wasn't supposed to either. Generally in Japan, fiction is just fiction, as opposed to here in the West where we'd rather advocate the morality of anime characters instead of defending actual victims. In case you're confused as to why most anime characters are high schoolers, it isn't because every author in Japan is a devious predator. It's because the Japanese usually consider high school to be the best era of their lives. Adult life in Japan can get pretty lonely, so a lot of authors use the high school setting as a tool to appeal to their audience's nostalgia. I think what I'm trying to say is, Japanese people live in a society. But on a serious note, there is a major problem with the way Westerners evaluate fiction. We tend to hyper-focus on one minor detail we disagree with, and then base our overall assessment on a single complaint. For example, this guy dropped 86 and Vivi just because their protagonists are women. Similarly, this Mal reviewer gave Call of the Night a 1 out of 10 because the characters' ages are weird. But if that's the only basis for your evaluation evaluation, then why did you even watch the anime? You could have just found their ages on the wiki and then left your review. It would have saved you a lot of time. Fundamentally though, I agree that Nazuna's age is problematic. I just think this guy's blowing it out of proportion and pretending the anime is something it's not. It clearly doesn't promote any of the shit he's accusing it of, so I just don't understand how someone could look at this and rate it a 1. There's only so many ways I can restate how beautiful this anime's artwork is, but this piece of chocolate cake looks so good, I almost want to fuck it. Which brings me to my next point. Let's say, hypothetically, I did have interracial sex with a chocolate cake. Is it morally wrong to have a romantic relationship with food? For humans, eating and sex are completely different things, but for vampires, they're interconnected. And because drinking blood is one of their biological needs, should vampires be held to the same standard humans are? When you're at KFC, do you ask how old the chicken was before you order it? And the next time I go to Taco Bell, should I make sure all the horses were over the age of 18? If humans had to have sex every time we ate food, you and I both would have died of starvation a long time ago. The main reason Yamori-kun's relationship with Nazuna feels predatory is because we view it from the perspective of a human. But from a vampire's perspective, what humans do to animals is a lot more fucked up than what vampires do to humans. Instead of painfully slaughtering their food before they eat it, vampires just take a few sips and then go about their day. I mean, night. Of course, it's immoral for humans to fuck animals, but it isn't it's bestiality. So in conclusion, Nazuna is not a pedo, she's a furry. Hopefully that didn't make sense because neither do most of the arguments people use to review this anime. But no matter what anyone says, I still love Nazuna. She's always a pleasure to watch and her personality is very funny and entertaining. Soon I'm gonna be ranking my top 10 waifus of 2022 and I can guarantee Nazuna will make it somewhere on the list. Make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss that video and please let me know your thoughts on Call of the Night. I'd love to make another video talking about the more positive things in this anime, like this character. I'm a big fan of her, but I thought I should address the controversy first. That's all for today though, I'll see you guys in the comment section. Keep talking about Call of the Night, I think I'm gonna call it a night.
Nani?